Welcome back, everybody, to another Market Open Streams. I'm your host, Roy Jr., co-founder, Chart Addicts, full-time day trader, and NAS100 extraordinaire. Great to have all of you with us. We're going to be covering live market news. We're going to go through macroeconomic updates. And of course, this stream is really made for all the people out there that may not have the opportunity to pay for education, or maybe you have paid for education in the past and haven't been able to find a clear direction to get success in your own trading. So hopefully you can see me make decisions live. You can see me put money on the line live in front of everyone. Good, bad, ugly, stressed, not stressed. You guys get to see what real trading looks like, and hopefully gives you a more realistic expectation of how to succeed as a full-time trader, as opposed to looking at people kind of more promoting the lifestyle as opposed to the real lifestyle, which is what we're going to be doing here for 2 hours, really making the money so I can go out there and do what I want to do and have that freedom. So if you guys have not been able to get quality information, or maybe you want to verify certain things, or just want to be around other traders because the people around you are not that motivated, they don't really understand having access to a financial market like this, and this is your chance to be able to see it happen live. So happy to have you guys along for the ride. Put something in the chats if you guys are ready, geared up for this morning. If you guys are ready to follow your trading plan, put a one in the chat. If you are ready to follow your risk management strategy today, put a one in the chat. If you've done your reviews and you know what has been working for you and what hasn't, and if you know how you're going to be pulling money out of the markets in 2024, if you focus on the process, which is your risk management, the execution strategy, securing partials, and trade management, the money will come. So if you're ready to do that, if you're ready to make great decisions and get paid for it, if you're ready to stay calm and collected, to accept the risk and know the risk that you're putting on each trade, put a one in the chat. Let's go ahead and get started for an incredible trading day. Let yourself, give yourself that concrete clarity of how many trades you're going to take in this session max. How many trades could you expect yourself to take in this session? A lot of people, they start their trading day and what they tell themselves is, I'm here to make money. I'm here to take advantage of the markets. But what they're not telling themselves is, what is the maximum limit of trades that you're going to take until you walk away? How many losses before you call it a day? How many wins before you call it a day? Because the sad reality is that most Forex traders make money, but the majority will give it back by the end of that trading session or by the end of that trading week. So if you want to defy the odds and if you want to be a successful trader, it's not about making money. It's about ensuring a system, a repeatable system where you can keep the money, you can grow the money, and you can withdraw the money. So just having an execution system of how to maximize your gains is awesome, but it's not the end all be all. Make sure you're focusing on all facets of this game so you can have the most success. All right. This is one thing that's really bugging me today is look how much further above the previous high the FTMO wick went. Look at this. This is really pissing me off. So the wick here is at 910, and this thing pushed all the way up to 919. Okay, what kind of stuff is this? Over here we have the highs at 950, and then the wick only ever went up to 954 or 955. So 2 or 3 points versus damn near 10 points. Because when I entered off of this sequence here, I entered at the 88.6, which should have been all the way up. We should be about 12 to 15 points in profit right now, and we should be about to hit TP1. But instead, because of how extensive that wick was, I got in halfway through the wick. There's no way I should have gotten halfway through the wick. I got an incredible entry here. All right, so I'm not going to complain about that. That's just the way that brokers are. That's not even the way that brokers are. I'm going to have to hold FTMO accountable for this, but these are the price quotes that they give us. And so we got to do what we got to do with with the conditions that we're given. Guys, we have a very special guest on the stream today. My good friend, Mr. QB Stu, aka the Forex quarterback, aka Jason Stewart, aka 500 to 80,000 in a week, aka the 100K a day legend, Mr. Jason Stewart. What's up?
aka Pips Mahomes.
aka Pips Mahomes.
You remember that one? You remember that one?
That one's
So
stuck.
they'll be
Everybody
calling
put
me.
W. Put WQB stew in the chats. Everybody put WQB stew in the chats. Let's go.
Put a W for yourself, man. I'm just, it's just the world. I'm just living in it. Y'all need the real W's for even being on these calls and continuously tapping in for yourself, because this is the skill set that can change your life. I compare it to a doctor. How long does a doctor have to go to college for? How long does a dentist have to go? How long does a lawyer have to go? People commit very lengthy periods of their life just to get a piece of paper to then go into the field that they actually enjoy. So I look at trading the same way. I mean, I didn't plan on having the type of days that I had as fast as I did, because in the grand scheme of things, 2.5 years I didn't make any money. But then year 3, year 4, year 5, I started to really break through. So I just hope everyone views their own journey similarly, in the sense of you don't need it to happen overnight. Just keep focusing on sharpening that blade a little bit more every single day. And before you know it, you got a samurai sword. So I'm proud
Jason,
of you
for
guys for
someone,
real.
I have a quick question for somebody because that's really important. You said year 4, year 5, things really took off for you. If someone is in that year 2, year 3, and they kind of think that it's not working for them, or maybe this is not going to work out for them because of how much time they put in, can you give some words
Right.
of encouragement from your experience of, where you were at in that journey?
Yeah, I mean, for me, trading chose me. I didn't necessarily choose trading. I know that's a lot different than most people. Is For me, I didn't have a car, I didn't have much money, so trading was the only opportunity for me that I thought like, oh, as long as I have Wi-Fi, I can try to. Because I was only making $300 a week at Target, working the 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. I was working like a little bit more than part time, but to make $300 a week. And then I remember the first time I made $7 on a live account, and that was within like 5-10 minutes, and that just let me know, oh wow, like the same $10 that I made in an hour of like manual labor, I could make just pressing buttons in 15 minutes, and I knew that was scalable. So I've always been a gamer. Roy, Golly, you guys have been over to the crib. Like you guys see, I have almost every gaming console. Like my little brother and I always grew up playing a lot of video games. So I just view trading as a video game, truly. And that's why I've been able to put up video game numbers at times. But the reality is, I've also blown many accounts. I've also, like, for every big win I've had, I've also had big losses. So, I take more pride in those, because that just shows like the fortitude I have to keep going, to like literally, it's like in football, people see the touchdowns, but it's like, what about the interceptions? What about the times I've been knocked out? Like the comebacks that I've had to have, to me, mean more than like a blowout victory. Because just like we were talking about yesterday, it's easy to, when everyone's winning, when life is good, it's easy to, oh yeah, trading is great, trading is amazing. But it's like, how's your attitude and energy on losing days? How's your attitude and energy after a blown account? Like those are the real trials. That's where you see what someone is really made of, because some people decide to hang their hat up and that's it. They quit their journey. That the blow was too much of a devastation for them to want to continue to proceed after what they initially said they wanted. And it's like, when we write our goals, we're all motivated. But what the fuck do we do, day 13, day 6, day 32 on the journey where you're not motivated and you have just blown an account? It's like, it's okay to take a break, but just, don't stay seated on the bench forever per se. Like, take a break, gather yourself, figure out what you did wrong, and then apply a strategy to help mitigate that from happening again.
Oof.
But that's the one thing I always give myself credit for. Even in junior college, I had to go 2 years without getting any scholarships. Like, 2 years, high school, no offers. 2 years, no offers. And then number one in the nation. Then the offers roll in. Like, the floodgates open. It's the same in trading. 2 years, no money. Then crazy days. But I always want to tell you guys, new levels, new devils. It's the higher you get, the more money you make, the more you realize whether people have been beneficial in your life or beneficial. and they'll keep taking from you. You know, it's like the whole like, all right, like now they start to look at you as a bank. You know, now it's not even QB Stew, now it's QB Bank, bro. Like Q Banks is it's like I can only imagine his family and friends. You know, like it's true. It truly becomes that where it's like I'm not J.P. Morgan, I'm not Bank of America. Like you know, so it's just the whole concept. Like, just be aware of that. If you're in a state right now where you're not in a great place, but you're working towards more, that's a great place to be. Because, like I said, I've been there many times where it's like you're working, you're working, you're working. If you're in a place where financially you're doing well and you're starting to experience profits that you've never experienced, just keep in mind if you start to raise your expenses and your lifestyle, then that's going to be something that you have to keep up with. And if you're in an explosion phase where everything's quantum, for me that was 2022. It felt like everything I touched was the Midas touch. Everything turned to gold, whether it was content, whether it was relationships, whether it was money. It seemed like I could do no wrong. But like I said, new levels, new devils. So that's why we all need God in our life. That's why we all need to tap into something that's greater than money. I love the Bible says chasing money is like chasing the wind. You can never catch it. If you're after six figures, once you get six figures, you're going to be after seven. If you're after a million, once you touch a million, you're going to be after 100 million. Like it never ends. So that's why we have to have something that can actually fulfill us, something that can provide peace. And that way you're never having to be controlled by the emotional fluctuation of trading, because some people's lifestyle genuinely mirrors their trading account, and I don't want that for any of you, especially since we know that the shit can get, it can get crazy sometimes.
Yo, I got a question, Jason, because this is solid gold right here. This is wisdom, not just knowledge. This is really from experience, yo. So when you reach the big days and then you kind of go backwards, because I've been in that situation. At first, it kind of puts you off from wanting to climb that height again. Because once you fall from the height, you're like, bro, I'm kind of scared of heights now. Do you feel like having those big days made you hungrier to want to see those big numbers and really pushed you to the next level? Or is there an element of making it and then breaking it that makes you kind of, be more hesitant with trading or makes you trade a little different?
There's something called the law of normality, and that's basically like once you do something enough, it becomes normal to you. It's not the same. Like the six-figure day that I had was with an investor. It was a 70% split and 103,000, so I got paid 70 some thousand, and it's like those, like me crying, calling my parents, like that's because I never had ever touched like 70,000 in a day. Like I had never experienced seeing 100K on a trading account. And those are real emotions, it's like that's to go from stocking shelves at Target, to go from sleeping in storage units at points, like to IHOPs, Anytime Fitness bathrooms, like to go from those lows to knowing like, wow, I'm about to get wired 70,000 just off information that I had up here and enough conviction to take a trade and to maintain it for 3 days. And so I say that to say, like, once you've expanded subconsciously, once your mind has grown, it can never return to its initial state. So it's like the fact that I have seen those type of numbers so many times now at this point is like, it's just normal now. That's why the when I did the NZD CAD or the AUD NZD, whatever it was, I think it was AUD NZD,
I think it
or
was
maybe it was,
NZDCHF or JPY. I remember
I
that
think it was, I
the one I
actually think
jumped
it
out
was
of.
NZD CAD. Yeah, the one
Uh,
you jumped out of. I actually think it was NZD CAD, but nonetheless, it's like
Yo, you mind if I tell
those
the
trades.
story? You mind if I give him some
Yeah, go
context
ahead.
real quick? Yo,
Yeah,
Jason's in this trade, and we're actually doing a charity stream. So Jason graciously hops on. He's breaking down a trade that he just entered, and I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the analysis, like, bro, this is one of the most solid analysis I've seen in a while. It was a great trade idea. I don't even trade CAD pairs. Again, trading out of my system, but I had enough conviction in it, so I took the trade. Now I'm in this thing holding, and I'll call Jason. I'm like, bro, I'm in drawdown, brother. I'll be honest, I think I had 17 lots on that trade for no reason. And I'm in deep drawdown. I'm on the streams and I'm holding for a week. And it's testing my patience. I'm not a swing trader. It's testing my patience. I call Jason, he's not even worried about it. Next week, same thing. By the 14-day mark, I hit my breaking point and I couldn't take the drawdown anymore. I was in way too deep. I was in way too heavy, and I closed the trade at a loss. I shit you guys not. 3 days later, in about a day and a half, it pops off for 350 pips. and Jason is in like 100 something lots. Jason, maybe you can correct me. It was in 100 something lots. And that was one of the big lessons for me to really like just the mindset that it takes to hold positions like that. Shit was crazy for me.
Well, that's it. And now you hear me constantly compare it to real estate or crypto. Like I've been holding crypto coins for years, like 4 or 5 years, honestly, and just continue to add to my portfolio because I'm looking at the long-term play of it. I believe in the technology and a lot of these projects and the utilities of these coins. So it's like, if I can hold a coin for 5 years, why can't I hold a trade for 5 weeks or 5 months? And the biggest thing too is I've seen you talk on it, Roy, and I'm take my hat off to you for that because I never knew how pricey the expenses of trading could be. And I'm not just talking wins and losses. I'm talking swaps. I'm talking charges. Like all of these things matter, especially if you're swinging. So like most recently with USD JPY, I had 120 lots in shorts, and I was holding for 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks, and like price was just sitting, like it wasn't going anywhere. And I'm big on like I don't want to, for exactly what Roy just said, I don't want to close out my position just because drawdown is making me uncomfortable. The same way I don't want to close out a position in profit just because it's sitting and I'm like not patient enough to allow my analysis to play out. And I'm not saying don't take profit. It's just like this is where we can self-sabotage ourselves as traders because if in one sense you sit down, you mark up a chart, you have your projections, you have your stop loss set, and you take the trade and you're like, all right, I'm going to let this play out. But then a day later, or 2 days later, or 3 days later, now you're, for whatever reason, freaking out about the same layout that you just had on your chart. It's like that kind of defeats the whole purpose. And a lot of time it's due to your environment. A lot of time it's due to what people, it's like the chatter in your ear. If you're in UJ buys and you see your mentor or a friend that you value their trades and you see they're in sales, like there's been times where James Storms and I have been in opposite trades on the same pair and we both ended up making money. And that's just more confirmation to like I like to live and die on my own sword. I don't like anyone else to influence what I see because we all statistically have the same chance of being right. It's 50-50. It either goes up or it goes down. It's up to us to manage our emotions and have the proper EQ to maximize what we see in the market. That's just point blank what it is. Some people are going to make more, some people are going to make less. Some people are going to lose more, some people are going to lose less. What matters is what you have in your account at the end of the day. That's it. Because at the end of the day, it's you, your family, your life. That's the reality. So all the wins, all the losses have just continued to grow me. That's it. It's growth. It's the same as like in the weight room. A lot of times people can't get past 225 on the bench. But once you do it one time, mentally, it's now possible. Like back to the whole 4 minute mile. Like it wasn't possible, then somebody did it. And now if you go look at the top 100 fastest times, they're all sub 4 minutes. So it's the whole concept, or sub 5 minutes, whatever it is. I think it's 3 minutes and 90 seconds. They're all around the same place. So to me, I'm looking at bigger. I'm still continuing. I don't want to limit my thinking. I want to think about $1 million day. I want to think about a $10 million day. And all it takes is one position. All it takes is one play in the market. We saw that with COVID. We're going to potentially be seeing that this year with where the economy is headed. There's going to be big moves. So we all just have to look at it as surfing. There's going to be waves. The question is, will we be on it with our board? And never, I don't want anyone of y'all to look at any profit or any position that you've ever taken and look down on it just because it might not be what someone else has done. Like that's the reality. Is like we all know that comparison is the thief of joy, and I just don't want anyone like feeling lesser than or feeling like what they're doing is not great just
Yo,
because
Jason,
it
time
might.
out, time out, time out. I'm sorry, bro. This trade is moving way too much. I gotta break this down. Otherwise, we're gonna miss this trade.
All right, you got it, bro.
Um, so I took a few shorts, and I don't know, guys. I feel like I'm a little distracted this morning. So for some reason, I set this tight stop loss, but there's like a huge discrepancy here. between these two price quotes. You see how far the body of the candle closed above the wick on FTMO, and you see how it's still sitting at equal highs here on OANDA. So at this point, the price discrepancy is way too confusing. I'm looking at price rejecting the 886 here as support, but over here we've broken through the entire sequence. So it's kind of impossible for me to trade the same technical, like the same price pattern here if the market is giving me completely different price signals. So for now, I'm gonna let this thing go. There was a chance for us to still get that move back down. I really should have been more attentive early because we had the 88.6 rejection here and we hit that TP1. And as soon as we had that first rejection, second rejection, third rejection, and fourth rejection, all these candles showed us that buyers were holding that zone. You guys know from the masterclass, if price holds support at TP1, let it go because it's going to rip to the upside. So now, more than likely, we're going to see a full push to the upside and then a retracement back down to the 16,910. So I see that there's a potential short position here. I've already taken 3 losses this week. So I'm not going to continue to force trades in the opposite side of the trend, a counter trend. So instead, this thing falls. It'll just be another confirmation to buy it here. But the biggest mistake I've made today is I blew my ammo way too early. I took a few too many positions early. And now that the market's going to drop, I have to follow my risk management and just let this thing go. So just want to explain that because some of you guys saw me take a few positions while Jason was talking. Just wanted to give that context. But damn, this is, yeah, I don't know why I took the 3 positions so early today. Really should have been more patient, but yeah, it is what it is. So now we're going to be, now we're going to be extra patient and just let that move come down. This might take 2 hours now, whereas the shorts might just be a quick in and out. This is going to be a tough one to watch. All right. Let me see what the stream's talking about. It says great interview and guest. Awesome stuff. Brother, I just joined in. Was in a US 30 buy and caught 100 points or 100 pips. Now time to enjoy your stream. Biplap, I'm glad you're on here and I'm glad you're about to enjoy the stream, but you don't catch pips on US 30. Let's go ahead and we catch points. Congratulations. There might be a retracement here coming in the next 30 minutes, but just based on how the market's been acting this week, if you're in a buy position, protect it and just hold. Because if we look at the last however many weeks, there's only one strategy that would have made you the most money, and that's that hold. So, fuck. All right. Damn. So I'll probably have to just skip out on the next trade. I'll see how long it takes for it to move back down. But at this point, I'm pretty pissed because I basically blew 1,500 for no reason. Could have just had a wider stop loss and just kind of made the adjustment, traded off of the market action here. But if I'm still if I'm still pissed off in the next 20 minutes and the market hits entry, I'm gonna just let it go because you can't really make good decisions when you're in a negative mind state. So even if the market gives me exactly the opportunity I'm looking for, if I'm not 100% sharp, I'm gonna find some way to fuck it up again. So more than likely, I'll be sitting this out. If anything changes over the next 20 minutes, I'll still take that next opportunity, but I gotta respect the risk management rules here. Because this is pretty painful. Just kind of just literally 10, 15 more minutes of patience would have been the difference between that winner and loser. So It's not about the strategy, it's about the mindset. Once you have the strategy down and you know your system, it's really just about having the discipline and the mind state to be able to just let it play out and not just like I don't know, I feel like I was making stupid mistakes this morning. So it is what it is. But that 886 to TP1, this is your second shot to get out if you guys were in this short. This is your last chance to get out before this thing forms that support.
One thing I do want to give you flowers for, Roy, and like mad love and credit for is just hopping on here and trading with an audience because like that's one thing that I could say personally, like I've tried to do before. Even with UJ, I've sent out like, all right, I'm getting in the trade, like I'm maintaining the trade. And it does add a whole nother realm of psychology that, like, in my opinion, trading was never meant to have. Like, uh these billionaire hedge fund traders, when they're taking positions, bro, they're not on live stream, they're not on Twitch, they're not on YouTube. Like, people don't know what they're, it's just them and the charts, or them and even the investors don't know. Like, that's the point of it. Is like it's just them in the market. No external noise. No, oh, it's gonna go up or it's gonna go down. So it's like I give you mad credit and take my hat off to you for like having the courage and the enough care, because that's all it is at the end of the day, bro. You just care enough about people that you want them to learn and see it firsthand. Like, not a lot of people can do that. So I know for me, bro, like if I'm 100 lots in a trade and I got people in the chat talking about some like, oh, we're in drawdown, da 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 da, and they're like, it's always funny, bro. It's the person with $50 account that's the loudest. It's the people in the nosebleeds that always talk the loudest. So it's like,
So this is the
you
standard,
know,
and I do appreciate that because I know you're my boy. But I hold myself to the highest standard. My standard is that nobody's opinion could have talked me in or out of a position. I talked myself out that trade. I talked myself into those trades. And did I let the pressure of the stream and the decision making, whatever, influence me? Yeah, for sure. But that's a shortcoming of me. Like nobody asked me to be on the stream at the end of the day. And so
right.
the real question is, did I do enough preparation work before this stream started to put myself in that best mental place? And the truth is no, right? Because if I did, I would have been a little bit more patient. I'd have been right on the button. I'd have sniped my shot, got in at the right time, got out. Remember, you told me about exit kings versus entry kings. And so that exit would have been very swift, it would have been clean, and I would have been out. So that it's a testament to what did I do today that was different than the winning days? And it was the preparation work that I was supposed to put in, the physical, the mental, the spiritual, to make sure that I could handle all the pressure of the stream. And that's a shortcoming which is why I'm being hard on myself. Because it's not like, oh, I lost money or whatever, bro. You and I both know this is one trade, I'll make it back. But it's more about like the could I have done more and did I do enough to put myself in that advantage? And truth be told, the answer is no. And I'm paying the price for it. And so I think I gotta be hard on myself because if I'm not, I'm gonna just let it slide. And I can't let it slide. Like tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and hopefully this emotional reaction gets my ass up an hour earlier tomorrow and then gets me to the gym an hour earlier tomorrow and really gets me going. Because this is that kind of pain that'll get you, you know, bro, look at this thing, this is a
Yeah, I'm watching.
this is a 5 minute candle. All right, this is a 15
Right.
minute candle where 15 minutes instead of losing 1,500, I could have made 2,000. And you and Golly would have called me, said, oh, lunch is on Roy, right? Chima trip on Roy, right? Right now you got to cover me at Cedar's Cafe later because you know what I'm saying? The tab is on you. You feel me? This is like when T won at poker.
I just always see both sides of it. Maybe that's like the devil's advocate in me, or like, like the coin flip of it all, because literally you could come as prepared as possible every single day, but the inevitable reality is like you're still going to lose. Like that, not every time, but like losing is inevitable. So it's like, I don't know. I agree it's good to be accountable, and especially since so many people lack that trait of like, okay, I'm going to look myself in the mirror and this is ultimately on me.
Yo, can
But
I
at
say
the
something
same time, the
arrogant? Can I
market is
say
still
something
the
mad
market.
arrogant? But I think you'll appreciate this. Is that
Hmm.
when I'm in my game, bro, I don't lose. Oh, losing is normal. When I'm off my game, yes, bro. Look at bro. I call this shit to the pip. Even when I
Yeah.
even when I lose, it's still correct. I fucked up. So I messed up big time. I'm the goof. You feel? I'm the flaw in the operation
Probably,
right
bro.
now.
I'm picturing you with your wife talking about even when I'm wrong, I'm right.
I'm like, I'm the best, I think. Like this trade kind of proves it otherwise, but I think so. It's like, now,
I
Jason, I
mean,
really
that's the
appreciate the
reality. Like
encouragement, man, for real.
you see a loss, but it's like when you see it playing out like this, it's like it wasn't really a loss. Like I'm not saying it's a lesson, that whole cliche term, but it's like, bro, you really did call the moves. So of
But
course it
that's
hurts
why
because
it
you're
hurts even more. It's like, if you
fast,
don't call a trade, you
bro.
can't be
It's
mad
not
at a trade that you didn't call. But if
right.
you snipe it to the T and you were and I had the short position in
Hmm.
and I tight stop loss and all these other things. Now the market is about to give me the perfect buy entry, and I'm gonna hesitate on it because I've already had too many losses today. But the buy is about to play it off this 910. It's gonna zip through the zone, it's gonna grab liquidity, and then it's gonna wick all the way back up like a rocket ship. And so I just have to have the fortitude to wait for this liquidity grab, and then as it closes back above to enter. And if I fuck that up, Jason, in the next 20 minutes, I don't make money. And if I do exactly what I just told you in the next 20 minutes, I make money. Wait for the liquidity
Yeah.
grab. And when it shoots
Yep.
back up and closes above 910, I'm back in the buys.
Right.
So now we just got to wait for this thing. Right there it is. There's that touch. Let's see if we break back in. No breaks back in just yet. Guys, remember the three R's in case you guys are watching this: reject, respect, and or react, respect, and then reject the zone. Right? People like we gotta give the three R's, the five C's, you know what I'm saying? Fuck, this hurts, bro. Fuck, I lose $1,600 for it. You feel what I'm saying? Fucking, oh man.
That's just the poker buy-in, bro. That's just the buy-in. Like you could, bro. Like
So the second you put the buy, it just runs to SL. You're like, wait. I didn't even get to play a hand yet. Like, this is crazy.
yeah,
He said,
exactly.
I'm two hands in, it's already gone.
That's literally me.
Bro, same. I bought back in like twice. I bought back in like I was refunding my Hugo's account. I was like, just one more time, just one more time. All right, here we go. Here's that rejection. Bottom side wick is formed. Don't get skimpy on the stops. Lesson learned for today. This thing will be in drawdown for a little bit. It'll keep playing around, but this is going to be a patience game. Liquidity has been grabbed on both sides. Ladies and gentlemen,
Mhm,
liquidity has been grabbed on both sides. So, Jason, I'm going to give you a little game right here. Right before every New York session, you have Australia, Tokyo, London, and whatnot. So, this creates kind of a range right before the session. And so, what
mhm.
most retail traders do is they buy above the range because they're chasing, and they sell below the range because they're chasing.
Facts.
Guess what we do? The opposite of the people. Because if 95% of traders lose, why don't I just do the opposite?
Right. Nah,
So
facts,
that's
bro.
my philosophy.
Them liquidity grabs are definitely the sweeps.
Yep. Because they want to activate everybody on both sides. People got buy stop sitting. So as soon as the buy stop hits, oh, they're in the buys. People got their stop losses set on both directions. So it's going to kick out stop loss, and then move. It's the way it goes. And usually the way again, I'm not gonna give out too much sauce because some of you guys are from the master class. I was about to give him the real deal sauce. Jason, I'm gonna just call you after this.
The peanut butter and the jelly.
Well, I was gonna give you the whole crustables. I was about to give you the uncrustable fucking yo. In case you guys don't know a funny story, my personality type. I'm the kind of call I called the number on the back of the uncrustables box or the bag in high school because the ratio of the peanut butter and jelly was completely off, and I thought it was a crime. I was like, bro, this is a jelly and jelly sandwich. The ratio was like a 3-to-1. That's disgusting. You can't have a 3-to-1 ratio of jelly to peanut butter. That's a crime. Jason, you know this. So if you guys want to know my personality, I was the guy that called the Uncrustable company. The customer service rep was like, bro, you're fucking serious or are you joking? I'm like, bro, I'm dead serious right now. I'm halfway through this Uncrustables. I feel like I'm swimming in a jelly sandwich. I was like, I feel like there's more jelly in here than bread. This is a crime. My
Yo,
friends pointed
guys,
at me.
I went
What?
to a steakhouse with Roy once, and he brought a scale with him, pulled out the scale, weighed the steak, and sent it back.
None of that happened. That was a
It was
complete
6 ounces
fabrication from
instead of
start to
8.
finish. Jason, we've been to many steakhouses together. I have never pulled out a steak at a steakhouse or a scale. That's never
Bro,
happened.
you did do that at the Korean barbecue.
Yo, what the fuck
Yo.
is wrong with you guys? Bro, don't do me like that.
I just pulled that out of my ass, man.
Bro, I'm never going to Korean
This man,
barbecue again, bro. This is
this man
crazy.
weighed
What?
the
I can't
protein.
weigh the food? They said it was a 6 ounce steak and it came out at 5.98. I can't send it back. That's crazy. That's nuts. He said Stewie is up, fam. Oh, he said sup, fam. That's Dwayne. Isaac says Christ is king. Amen to that, Isaac. Amen to
Amen.
that. Let's go. Yes, sir. Yo, Isaac, you just jumped to the top of my favorite. Everybody put W Isaac in the chats, man. Put W Isaac in the chats. That's what I'm talking about. NAS100 class is the best. Miss Katie, good morning. He said, you've walked the talk. I'm doing it live right now, baby. Loving the mindset talk. I hate closing down a trade and then it follows your analysis. Look, I learned a lot from Jason, but I learned more from Jason being an athlete and a trader at the same time. Because as a quarterback, if you miss a bunch of throws or you throw it, you throw it just a slightly off, or even a pick, which is an
Mm-hmm.
interception, you throw it to the wrong player on the wrong team.
Right.
It only takes one touchdown for everybody to forget all that stuff and for you to get right back in your rhythm. And you can't
Yep.
score a touchdown if you're down on yourself, if you're second guessing yourself. So, Jason, I want to applaud you. I want to say I appreciate you for everything that you've helped me with in my trading, really allowing me to build a stronger mindset and perspective around this game. Yo, having good people around you is not like this was a luxury I had after I already started having success. I met Jason and he just helped me take it to the next level. So you guys, if you don't have someone in your life like that, don't be like, oh, well, I can't succeed because I don't have a Jason in my life. I had to really earn this thing from the bottom, but Jason took it to the next level because I had built a foundation. The mechanics were already second nature. My strategy, I was already confident in. I had already done my own I already built my own memory bank and intuition with trading. But Jason's perspective shift of like, bro, why are you tripping over one loss? Like, look at the drawdown I was in before this trade even played out. You explained to me the archery example, how the market pulls back, and the further it's liquidity grabbing, just like right now, the farther it's going to push up. Buddy, this thing is going to end up back here at the 88.6. All right. I'm gonna just let you guys know this right now. For everyone who's asking what broker I'm on, thinking I'm actually throwing 50 live lots on like a Hugo's. No, no, no. This is FTMO swing trading account. This is a 1 to 30 leverage. So this is the equivalent of a 0.5 on a traditional broker. Let nobody get it twisted. I ain't out here throwing 50 real lots. Let's get it straight. I'd be a little bit more emotional. But keep it a stack with you guys. That happened. That's real. But this one
I think
trade
the
is a
biggest
3 to 1. So it'll
I
make
think
it
the
back.
biggest thing is, like, regardless of how it plays out, you never want to allow the last play to affect the next play, or you'll keep making the same play. Like, if you were to have allowed that loss to keep you from taking the buy, regardless of how it plays out, win, lose, or draw, then you've already lost, in my opinion. That's how I view it. It's like if you allow the last play to keep you from still trading what you see and following your strategy, then you're already too emotionally, you know, out the picture to even be taking a trade. That's why I keep saying, regardless of the outcome, whether you win or whether you lose, you still know what you're doing, bro. Like, that's the biggest thing. You could lose the next 6 trades and you still know what you're doing, bro. I just don't want anyone
But
on
losing is
here
not
to be.
fun. You and I both know losing
Of
sucks.
course, interceptions are fun. Losing is not fun, but it's a part of the game. So
Guys, I'm talking to the
it's
guy
like
that
it's
that started over Johnny Manziel, that scored 5 touchdowns in the fan-controlled league. Basically, was just throwing absolute dimes. Took out a joint from his wherever it was, the little thing that quarterbacks wear to keep their hands warm or whatever. He pulled out a joint, sparked it on national television, went viral on ESPN and Bleacher Reports and all types of Bleacher Reports. And then, this is who I'm talking to. So this guy is performing at a high level. Jason, I ain't starting over Johnny Manziel. All right, I'm trying. All right, I'm doing my best. All right.
you're doing more than trying, bro. That's why I keep giving you your flowers, bro, because you're actually doing. I had a mentor one time tell me, Jason, we don't try to do anything. We either do or we don't. And you're doing, bro. That's why I keep saying it's like the outcome is irrelevant. It's the action that matters. And that's kind of how I'm looking at social media now too. Is like that's why I keep encouraging everyone to document their journey. Don't be so focused on the harvest. Reward yourself for the action of planting. That's what we need to focus on.
Ooh.
If you
Ooh.
reward yourself for planning every single day, I can guarantee after a month, 2 months, 3 months, you're going to see a harvest. It's not a question of will you. It's literally indefinite. It has to. So, with you taking this trade, that's how I look at it, bro. It's like you could have allowed one miscue or the market to completely throw your psychology out the window, throw your confidence out the window. But that's what I keep saying, bro. It's the God inside of you that you need to focus on more. That's why we all need to increase our faith and acknowledge like what we really have in us. Because if this trade hits TP, you're a great trader. If this trade hits SL, you're a great trader. Like that's the reality of it, bro. That's the reality of it. Because the less than 1% of people can do what you're doing right now, and that's hop on a stream, mark up a chart, get in a trade.
And call it
Why?
live. Didn't I say the liquidity grab? And didn't I say I was going to enter as soon as it breaks back above? What did I do?
Yeah, I like to even jump down to the like a lower time frame just to see, not you don't have to stay there, but just to see, okay, are we getting
I'm gonna
support?
talk myself out the trade if I do that. But I'm on the 5 minute watching it go up and down. Jason, look, I'm gonna have to stop the stream before I recoup all my money because these guys are gonna see me make a couple thousand and then I'm gonna get a dinner invite that I'm gonna pay for, and so I'm gonna have to cut off the stream early. It's like, nah, Jason, we still going to UFC gym today or what's up?
Yeah, yeah. I'm about to catch this lift at St. James, and then I'm down to hit the gym as well later.
Golly, what time we going, bro?
Um,
I'm gonna have
trying to
to
do like
go
4:30,
shake some of this stress out, bro. I'm trying to go fucking beat up your coach. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to go in there and just do some damage.
What's it called? Just give me a call after the stream, bro.
I got you. We'll link up right after. All right, y'all. Just waiting for one push. This is gonna take a little bit of time because the whole point of the liquidity grabs is it's going to squeeze your patience. It's going to squeeze your mental fortitude and your emotional fortitude. And so it'll just keep playing in this this little torture chamber here. Stress, stress, stress until you crack and you close the trade and then it pushes and it moves. And so if you can just ignore that physical response that you're feeling of impatience, of like, oh, why won't it move, of trying to impose your own will on the market, it becomes a lot easier to have patience, quote unquote. Right? Because right now, the patience to hold it, it's the only reason why it would be difficult is this fear that it's going to go and hit stop loss. It's like, well, yeah, I'm in profit right now, but what if it just crashes and hits stop loss? I will tell you guys the same thing that gave me a sense of confidence in kickboxing, which is if you're going to walk into a ring and you have this fear of getting hurt or you have this fear of taking damage, you're not going to be able to fight well. And you're going to play scared and you're going to get beat up in there. And it's going to hurt. If you walk into a ring and you tell yourself, I'm going to get hit. This is a fist fight, for God's sakes. I might get even make friends with the worst case scenario. I might get knocked clean, sparked out in front of everybody here. Once you've accepted that worst case scenario, now you're like, all right, I've accepted that. So now nothing can hurt me. The worst case scenario here is I lose yet another trade. It goes and hits stop loss after being in profits, after all the motivational speeches, and I'm sitting here quiet for about 5 minutes on the stream, and I have to sulk in that. I've accepted that. So now I'm able to play my game. I'm able to have that level of, that be in the flow state. And plus, I'm a fucking legend, guy. Calling two of the trades. Oh, you can't predict markets. No, you can't predict markets. This does not apply to me. All right. Tell me that I'm reading these books. Mark Douglas talking about you can never predict the markets. No, it sounds like you couldn't do it. That's why you're writing this book. You feel me? Watch me trade live every morning at 9:30 market open, and you tell me. It's like, no, guys, I can't be arrogant after having made the goofy mistakes I made this morning. Let me hold myself back. There's no room for ego in this game, et cetera, et cetera. But damn, am I wild accurate? Yes. Am I on the way to making my money back slowly but surely? Hashtag build back better. Yes. Put hashtag build back better in the chats. If you believe in yourself and you believe in whatever mistakes you've made, you have the opportunity every day to come back. He said, put this man on another podcast, Roy. Isaac, we on a podcast with Jason right now. Y'all, ask a good question and I guarantee Jason will answer it. And you'll get a better answer based on the quality of the question. Don't be shy. He said, we need a song for QB Stew draft day, not Johnny Manziel. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yo, Dykes just said Jit be throwing dimes. He called you a Jit. That's how you
Yeah,
know that to go to
that's that
Florida,
Florida
brother.
thing right there. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Brother, he
I
said,
mean,
we have the
bro,
Holy Spirit inside us. Amen. Amen to that, Isaac. W to you again. We got the hashtag Build Back Betters lining up in the comments section right now. Mario
I
said
had a
sparring
boxing
session.
coach.
Oof.
I had a boxing coach once tell me that the real win is just having the courage to actually like step in the ring. So it's like I view the same thing with trading. Like that's why I keep saying it. It's not about winning or losing. Like even having the courage to load up your account, to take the trade, to set your parameters, to sit in the trade. Like to me, that's where the real victories are occurring. And the actual numbers that you see behind it, it's just all numbers on a screen. The same way when you log into your bank account, that money is not actually there. It's just a number on the screen. Like if you go to your bank and let's say you have 100K, $1 million, $10 million, you can't just show up and say, "Let me get all that money out." Like it's gonna be a process, and I get a lot of people don't know that because they've never gone through it. But like, you can't just show up to a random Bank of America and say, "I need to withdraw $1 million." They're gonna have to make some calls and move some shit around for you to actually get that million. But when you log into your Bank of America and you see that million on the screen, it's just a number on the screen. So like we all need to understand that concept because it's the same thing with brokers. Like that money that you see in your account is just a number on the screen, you know, at the end of the day. So when we can all get past the numbers, the same as social media. I've had a post do 32 million views and I've had a post do 3 views. Like it's just numbers on the screen. We all have to get past that. Don't allow a number on the screen to dictate the way you see your value in life. Like like this C4 right here at a gas station might run like $2-3. This C4 at an airport would run $5 or $6. It's the same exact product, but based on the environment that it's in, the value of that fluctuates. So it's the same could be said for all of you in life, you know. But yeah, it's a clean trade, Roy. You know what I'm saying? It's back to that symphony, you know. It's a clean trade. That's the beauty of it. Is you gotta just have the patience to let it play out. No candle moving forward should change how you see this playing out. Like stick to your bias, you know, win, lose, or draw. Stick to your bias. Let it play out. And the one extra piece of information I want to give too is like I used to always add to losers and that would just make my losses bigger. Now I only add to winners. Like now I'm only going to scale into a trade that's already winning. I'm not going to I'll never again if I'm in drawdown just be adding more entries cuz I'm just adding to a loser. I used to think, "Oh, this is just giving me a better position." But it's like then in reality, you know, I was just stacking on top of a losing trade versus if I'm in a winning trade, I don't have an issue adding more to that winner.
They're asking a few questions here. They're asking a few questions here. Shan says, "Can you ask him how many times he thinks I'm a six-figure? How many times do you tell yourself you're a six-figure trader until you accepted the self-image?" So I don't know if that's the same question of how many times you said it or how long you said it until it actually happened versus until you like did it happen when you accepted the self-image? Talk to us about that.
It's a great question because when I first started saying it, I probably had like $1,500 to my name. And I remember I even had friends that would laugh at me for having that as an affirmation on the back of my phone because they knew where I was at financially. And I even felt like a fraud saying it to myself because I knew my current state wasn't what I was projecting onto my future. But once again, the Bible says faith comes by hearing the word. So I need to hear that. I need to hear it. No one else is saying, "Jason, you're a six-figure trader," especially when they know I'm not, you know, up financially. So if no one else is going to speak life into me, because it says the life and death is in the power of the tongue, life and death. like literally. So I need to speak life into my own life. And as I'm hearing it, my faith is increasing. As my faith is increasing, then my belief level is rising. I could never have imagined that when I'm saying I'm a six-figure trader, I didn't know what form that was going to come in. I didn't know that was going to happen in a day. I didn't know if that would happen in a week or a month or a year. And what's crazy is I went from saying I'm a six-figure trader to my belief level started to rise so much. I'm like, I have to stop limiting my belief based on the fact that I had never experienced six figures. So imagine if I had been saying I'm a seven-figure trader. The only reason I wasn't saying that was because my belief was limited. That's the thing. It's like, if we really believe in this scripture, we understand, for nothing is impossible with God, for I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Like, so many verses that talk about how there are no limitations. Lean not on your own understanding. Like, all these different concepts. We all are our own biggest worst enemy, because we all create limiting factors based on what we've already done. It's like I said, the same as the gym. It's all the same. It's literally all the same. It's like, okay, if you've never lifted a certain amount of weight, then your goal is to lift a set that's obtainable, because you don't want to have a goal per se that's too far away. And that was the same thing with trading. Is like, I wasn't saying I'm a seven-figure trader, but one thing I will give myself credit for was even the Vegas video. When I had $3 to my name, I still said these are seven-figure feet. So it's still a concept of knowing what God created you to be, even if it hasn't showed up in the physical yet. You know, that's the beauty of it. Is like, the law of attraction is real, but to attract something, you have to be that thing. Like, you have to be something that's pulling it towards you. That's why I even said chasing money is like chasing the wind. We shouldn't be chasing money. Money should be chasing us.
Ooh.
Opportunity should be chasing us. Like, we should be attracting it. I don't need to. It's like, okay, should I be chasing after my wife, or should I be attracting my wife? You know, should I be chasing after business opportunities, or should I be attracting them because of the value that I'm providing or bringing to the table?
You
And
attract
that's how I
the
look.
woman you want in your life by becoming the kind of person that deserves that opportunity. Why is God going to give you the opportunity if you're not ready for it? If you're not ready to
Correct.
be a seven-figure earner, if you don't believe in yourself and your self-worth to even handle that opportunity, why would you get handed it? What kind of sense would that make?
And
You're
the
saying,
biggest thing too,
hold on. I gotta cook this dude in the chat real quick. Can you give me 1 second? I just gotta light him up real quick. Is that all right? He's talking about that the market is gonna crash from here, but his target is 1740. Now, can you explain to me how we're crashing from here, but you're saying the TP is 1740, which is up here, but he's saying it's gonna crash. So, are you just trying to mislead people in the chats? Because that's deceptive. That's deceptive behaviors. Jason, I know that social media, there's a lot of clowns and whatnot on in streams and on comment sections. The one thing that you'll see about this stream is that a lot of other people's streams are like, oh, we want the views up. We want the views up. Let's let whatever type. I hopped on Raja's stream the other day. They were talking about some what he reads in the bathroom, whatnot. But this is not the stream for that. Ladies and gentlemen, every single person in this chat knows we keep things 100% productive here. So whether we are going through and learning something from Jason, or people are providing genuine feedback about the trade that they're in, whatever it might be. If you're trying to mislead people in the chats, it's a problem. My bad, Jason. Go ahead.
no, you're good. And I even see Gablo saying yes, but don't confuse you with delusions. And I agree. But see, there's a
Ooh.
difference. It's like, is delusional is when you're telling yourself something that just legitimately is not true. Like, you're believing a lie. And that's the difference. Is like, you can't call something a lie if you haven't given yourself the entirety. It's like saying, if I'm a basketball player and I'm saying, that I will score 5,000 points, it's not a delusion if my career is not over. Like, if I'm still an active player, there's nothing delusional about speaking that type of like concept into my life. And with trading, it's a 1v1 thing. So it's like, just back to the same God that breathed on the earth and said, let there be life. It's like, that whole concept is true. It's the same way trees wouldn't. We need trees to breathe. And trees need us to live because we provide the carbon dioxide, like just in us breathing. So there's actually life in our breath. So I know very well the power of speaking life into my life. I've seen it firsthand, not just with trading, but with so many other instances. With football, I literally used to have pictures of, all these Division 1 quarterbacks, because that's, to me, was like making it to the NFL, was going D1. And it's like I would have my walls covered in players that were already where I wanted to be. My roommate, rest in peace, my brother, one of my best friends, Kareem. He was the #1 offensive lineman in the country, already going to Florida State, had every school calling him. I asked to be roommates with him because of my environment. Literally, I'm hearing somebody receive phone calls from every school in the country every day. And you would think that doesn't matter, but it does. Like, the environment is so important. If I spend days with Roy and Golly, the conversations we're having are much different than the conversations I would be having with a friend who maybe is not on the same path or doesn't have the same trajectory or vision. The conversations are very different. And just listening to people's conversations lets you know a lot about where they're at mentally, and even problems as well. The stuff that people complain about let me know exactly, like, the size of your problems lets me know exactly where people are at in life just based on what we complain about.
Yo, my bad. I'm
So
closing my first entry because it's the worst of the two, and I'm holding the better of the two entries. So I ended
okay.
up getting an entry just below the daily wicks, way better entry price. I just closed out of the other one for risk management. A lot of people, like, if the trade starts going their way, they'll end up holding the trade because they're like, oh, it's finally going my way. Let me take advantage of it. For me, I look at risk management, so I have to de-risk in case this thing does crash. And so now I'm just left with a much better entry. If we get or when we get a break above these highs right here, I'd be looking forward to putting my stop loss and break even and then securing some partial profits. Just want to let you guys know, uh, trade is still holding. It does look like bears really want to make a move today. But as long as it's holding that daily low, the trade is still valid, and we're going to get that push up to TP1. Okay? So that's what we're looking at. TP1 on FTMO here is 16,891, which is only about 15, 20 more points away. All right, so pretty straightforward stuff. And the reason I like the wick entry is because if I move my stop loss to break even, there's a very good chance that it won't get hit because it's at such a low price that it may just play around in this range between the 0 and 88. But to go below the 100, it's going to be a little bit less likely. So it allows me to have that peace of mind if I want to move my stops to break even. So as soon as we hit that 7-8, I'm going to take partial profits and move stops to break even. There we go. It's a patience game, people. It's a patience game. Not saying that sellers can't take over. Very, very possible that sellers take over, but this is why your trade management is going to have to be important here. I ended up getting a better entry, which means that the overall risk that I'm putting on this trade is improved. And yeah, and if I really, really wanted to, I can just move my stops to break even now and end up holding this trade. But I'm going to accept the risk. Clearly, I got a better entry than the first time. So I'm going to let this play out just to see if we hit TP1 at least. If we don't hit TP1 and it keeps dropping, so be it. That's the name of the game. But yeah, so far, trade is valid enough because we had that closure above the 88.6. Let me show you guys this just to have that proof, because everything can't be based off intuition. Nothing can be based off intuition in trading except for your execution and trusting yourself. But when it comes to which level to execute from, whether the trade idea is valid or not, for me, this is how I do it. We do body to wick. And what I noticed here was that the market pushed all the way up and then it closed above the 88.6. So even though this is a very weak closure, we had a massive liquidity grab. The market still closed above the 886. So whatever is happening here, as long as it comes back up and closes above the 88.6, this thing is going to end up at the top of the range. If it keeps closing below the 88.6 and using it as resistance, then it's going to have that push to the downside. And at that point, we'll just let it go. Deal? Put a 1 in the chat, at least if you guys are clear about the next two moves on NASDAQ. If you guys want to draw it out, we either close back above the 16,912 level, in which case we're headed up to TP1, TP2, and then TP3. And if we keep playing below this level and using the 88.6 as resistance, then it's going to go down. All right. Right now on FTMO, it looks like we are using it as resistance, but we still have this higher low forming here on the smaller time frames. So I'm just going to let this keep working its way up and down, kicking people out of the trades and seeing if we get that wick right back up. All right, it's a patience game, people. Patience game. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys are clear on this. The chart assassin said you were looking at Oanda chart. Those levels are different than the futures chart. For Oanda, the TP is 871. 871. As just below the daily low here. I could see that for sure. I could see that for sure. Basically, it would be an extended retest back inside the range, back under this high, and a continuation. If you guys want to actually find the level, what I would do is I would draw a fib from top to bottom, and it would be the 88.6 to be retested as the new floor. So we'll go here, here. It would actually be 852 chart assassin. 852 here. All right, so that's plan B. This is not a trade I'll be taking. This is probably something that'll happen in the second half of New York session or maybe even tomorrow. So I'm not looking at this second position, but it's important to have the bigger picture in mind because if the market doesn't give you exactly what you're looking for, you have to have that plan B. If you don't, you're going to be trying to make a plan B on the spot, which is pretty tough. That's where you take random trades and you make random decisions. Yeah, you guys can see here that the market was using the 88.6 as resistance. The 88.6 is this red line. I guess you want to see it here. We're using it as resistance, and then we're using it as resistance again. So that typically means that sellers are still in control. I was looking for one more wick back up, but the market is really, really doing its best to whipsaw in both directions so that sellers and buyers are both getting tapped. So the name of the game over the next 2-3 weeks is not just entry, it's going to be trade management. So getting in and out, I was in profits twice on these trades. Getting in and out should have been my move. I'm here holding intraday trades for some reason, even though clearly the market has been telling us for the past however many days that you can look at all the different wicks, that the market this is an in and out market. And so I had a choice to close this thing or move it to break even. I'm going to have to accept the loss if it comes, but that's just the market conditions right now. So it's not necessarily just about the execution, but the trade management is the number one. That is the priority in this market condition because it's just going to keep shaking up and down all day. This one's tough. I'm not going to change the score just yet, but I think we can all see where this one's going.
I mean, you'd be surprised, bro. That's why I always say your parameters are your parameters. Like, we can't allow drawdown to get us too emotional, and we can't allow floating profit to get us too emotional because a lot of time it's just fluctuate. That's all it is, bro. It's not official until it's official. Like, bro, there's been
Exactly, but
times
that's
where
why I
I've
haven't
literally
closed.
been
Let that be a thing because I can
nah,
sit here
but
a bitch because I'm on a stream, kind of just whining about it. But what my emotions and my behaviors are
that's
different.
my point.
Yeah, you guys can see I'm still
Right,
in this
exactly.
trade.
That's my point, bro. It's like if it were to push up another 50 points, then you know what I mean? It's the whole like we can't be doing backflips now because we're floating profit. The same way we can't be crying if we're floating drawdown. Like it's all floating. There's no point of having any emotions over something that's not official. Until that whistle blows, the shit is floating. That's just the reality. Like even afterwards, okay, it's okay to express yourself, but like literally don't get too high and don't get too low. Allow the shit to play out. It's a reason you have your parameters. Let it breathe. You need to breathe, let it breathe.
So you're
And
saying
if
to
it
full
hits stop
margin?
loss, okay.
You're telling me full margin the account on this trade?
Don't ask me. Bro, you seen how I play poker with y'all, bro. I was all in on the second hand. So it's like, don't ask me, bro. I'm just saying in general, you know?
No, I appreciate that, bro. Yeah, don't let the emotions or your intuition talk you out of a trade. Don't let what you think might happen talk you out of a decision. Let what actually happened make the choice for you. And I actually said that yesterday. Is like a lot of people were trying to talk me out of my positions. I will let the market prove me wrong before I allow the opinions of others to prove me wrong. Okay, because the market is the only one that's the judge. It's going to
Mhm.
tell me if this trade is valid or not. And the only way to find out is for me to hold long enough to let it play out. That's the mistake I made on the shorts, right? Win or lose, I should have made the right choice to trust my instinct. And so here, win or lose, even if I lose, I have to trust my instinct, and I have not trust my instinct, but trust the strategy. And I have to allow it time to play out. Otherwise, I'm doing myself a disservice. I'm getting in my own way, which can't happen. It's a no-no. Quick reminders, everybody, catch me, Jason, and the squad on tour in 2024. We're going to be going around the world to bring you guys solid trading information wherever you guys might be. So if you have a city that you guys want us to hit, put the city in the chats right now. Put the city that you guys want us to hit in the chat. We're going to be doing this regularly. And the more times that we see the names of those cities, we're going to really put it on our schedule and make sure that we hit that. This is your last week to grab 50% off your FX Summit 2024 tickets. Again, November 15th to the 17th in Dubai. We're hosting our third annual FX Summit conference, bringing on the best traders, investors, and entrepreneurs in the world to give you guys solid information that you can trust. We have Oanda, TradingView, Forex.com, and the rest coming to speak and give out that value. And of course, tons of millionaire funded traders, millionaire traders, and all the like to give you guys the quality info that you've been looking for. So fxsummit2024.com, link is in the description. Tickets are half off for the end of the year. Make sure that you grab yours before they're gone. Okay. It's the patience game. So I'm going to make you guys, this is a decision-making tool that I use. If for some reason you were in drawdown and the drawdown itself had made you so uncomfortable that you were kind of like in a negative state, when the market comes back to your entry and you're floating at break even, you have a choice to close it. And so if I was sitting in drawdown and for some reason I realized that I just was not ready to take on this risk today, like I saw the negative 1200 drawdown, I'm like, look, I don't want to take another 1200 today. When the market comes back to break even, you have an obligation to close the trade. Not because it can't play out or it might play out or what if it still has room to go, but because you clearly showed yourself that you were not ready for the loss. And so regardless of what the market does, you're not going to be able to make the right choice. And so if that's you and the market is at break even for your trades, make the risk management decision to close it. For me, I had a choice right here to close it at break even, and I'm taking the risk, to put this risk capital on the line because that's the choice that I'm making. And so everybody on the stream, when you're making your trading plan, make sure in your trading plan you tell yourself, what is your priority? Is your priority your mental health? Is your priority your, risk management and never blowing the account again? Because if it is, when the market gives you an opportunity here to take that stress off your shoulders and to make better decisions, you don't make a decision based on, okay, well, it's finally rejecting. Now it could actually push up. I accept that even though it's at break even again, this thing could crash. But I have accepted and made a rational decision to accept this risk on the table, as opposed to just like being in the trade hoping it's going to turn around. You guys got me? Don't make a choice based on what you think is going to happen. Make a choice based on what is the worst case scenario. Am I prepared for that? If the answer is no, I'm not prepared for that loss. You have a choice to close and break even or in profit or to move your stop loss. Cool? All right. He said Roy is speaking facts. When am I not? When am I not? So you guys think I'm out here with a YouTube stream out here just giving you guys false information? That's crazy. He said, I can listen to Stu all day, dude. Dude just gets it. And the stoner vibe is relatable. Speaking of which, bro, you have to hit your boy. You feel me? You might have to hit your boy up. Okay. What's the code for the NAS100 if you want to take it again for a refresher? You guys can use code CHART ADDICTS. CHART ADDICTS. It's a custom code. It's going to be valid for the next 24 hours. Make sure you guys take advantage before it's gone. He said Dallas, Texas. Been there, done that. I'm good. Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Michelle, why would you even say that out loud? Right? You feel what I'm saying? Why would you even insinuate that I would be caught in Tuscaloosa? We might. But if you know anything about me, Michelle, there's a very good chance that you're not going to find me there. Orlando, Florida, maybe. South Africa. What city in South Africa? We're definitely heading South Africa. We're definitely going to put on a show down there. Guaranteed. We're going to go to Johannesburg first. Market will always give a second chance. Yes. Dyke said stay locked in till the whistle blows. That was one of my biggest takeaways. It's not over till the whistle blows. All right? It's not over till the whistle blows. That doesn't mean keep throwing interceptions. It means lock back in so you can make the best choices. You're like, oh, I'm 5 interceptions deep. Coach, trust me on this one. You're just out there throwing whatever comes your way. No, no, no. You're not Rambo. You can't just shoot everything. Right? Jason Bourne. You guys ever heard that Eric Thomas speech where he's like, you have no direction in your life. You're Rambo. You're just out here, bop, 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 bop. You hit it. You don't hit it. You don't hit the target. You don't hit the baby in the stroller. You hit the old lady crossing the street. Collateral damage everywhere. You can't do that. So you have to be calculated. Jason Bourne is on the top rope 3 days. Same target. No food, no drink. Holding his breath, waiting for that target. And so when when I say to the last whistle, I'm not saying just keep firing random orders. I'm saying get so locked in. Let that emotion fuel you to have that extra gear of focus to really justify to yourself whether this is the right decision. I'm not using this focus to predict what the market's going to do next. I'm using this anger and the focus that I have to ask myself really directed questions. Am I ready for another loss if it happens? Real deal. When I get off the stream, it's all fun and games, but when I get off the stream, I got to live with whatever consequences, whatever decisions I made. So now I'm like, okay, is the priority making the money back or being proud of the decisions I make when I get off? Because I'm fine with losing money. I'm not going to be fine with making a bunch of mistakes that I could have avoided. That's going to be something I have to sit with all day. So now I have a different choice. I'm not making a decision here based on how much money I can maximize out of this trade. I'm making this based on what is going to make me the most proud of myself when I close out my MT4 today and I go on and I have to deal with my friends and my family. What decision is going to make me the most proud of myself? Right now, win or lose, it's going to be holding this trade because it'll show that I stuck to my guns. Even if I lose this trade, that's fine. But if I trust myself, that's going to make me more proud of myself than if I close it. You guys understand where I'm going at with this? So sometimes we prioritize money because the whole of losing a trade feels horrible. But once you realize that the priority is not making back the money, it's being proud of yourself and not being disappointed in your decisions, that's where you make slightly different decisions. Okay? We have a beautiful double bottom here. Price is coming back up to the 88.6, but we're still using the 88.6 as resistance. So what I might do here is actually move my stops to break even. I'm going to give this just a second before I move my stops to break even. But the market is still using the 88.6 as resistance, which is a sign that there's further downside risk. Now, we don't know if it's still using it as resistance. We have to wait for the candle closure. So I'm going to allow this thing to finish playing out. If we have a candle closure above the 88, I'm going to put my stops and break even. If we have a candle closure below the 88, I'm putting my stops and break even. Because either way, I'm either going to be in a risk-free trade that's going to continue, or if it closes below, I'm going to be in a risk-free trade that's most likely going to reverse. So either way, that is the mark that I have for either scenario. And really, it's just a patience game at this point. Not a fucking Wix. I'm sorry. I said I wouldn't curse. I'm trying to keep myself accountable, Jason. He says put
You're doing
NQ.
good, bro. The best part about this is that people can see the whole process of floating either direction. That's how I look at it. It's like people got to see, and that's with the whole chart addict slogan, every step of the way. Like, you're showing people every step of the way what this process looks like. What is the life of a trader? What is it like to be? What is it like to get clapped on the top side and then still have the all right, bet. We're gonna wait till it gets down here. Okay, now that it's down here, we're gonna wait for the sweep. Okay, now we saw the sweep. Now we're getting in buys. It goes in profit, comes back in drawdown, goes in profit. Like the whole process, people need to see that because they should be able to. You're teaching people how to fish. Once they know how to fish, they can go out and catch that big trout themselves. So
You know
it's a
what the
beautiful thing.
is really well said, and there's proof of that because Lessman is in the chat saying that we're in phase three. You know, part of my strategy is there's three phases to the market cycle, and the fact that they're seeing it, just like I didn't even have to say which phase we're in, but they like
Yep.
it's well known now, and that warms my heart beyond anything else because this is how the markets work. Folks, if you saw phase one, phase two, phase three, put a one in the chat if you guys identify these. I'm about to draw it for you. You know, for the folks who haven't taken the master class, you might not understand this. For more seasoned traders, you've seen this everywhere. But put a one in the chat if you guys have already spotted all three phases. That's why we buy below and above the range. Here's phase one. All right. Here's phase two. And then phase three will be here. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, click the link in the description. Make sure you guys get your seats. The NAS100 Masterclass to learn a tested and proven strategy that you can apply in 2024 to make 2024 your greatest trading year yet. My stops are in break even. I shaved off a fourth of my position, just 25% of my position got taken off. That was more about just pulling something off the table for my own mental peace. Just to say that I took the trade and I took partial profits at predetermined areas, and it gives me back a sense of control over the decisions that I've been making today. So that was nowhere near, like, I didn't make back any of the money that I lost. That wasn't really the goal with the partial profits. It was more to show that the goal was to enter at the right price to secure money off the table, and I've done that now. The rest of my position I will be holding to the top of the range. And if held to the top of the range, I will recoup my losses for the day, which again is not the main goal because I cannot allow, just like Jason said, I can't allow the past trade to influence my future decisions. But there is an element of, okay, I can keep holding this thing for 3, 4, 5,000, but really I need 1,600 to break even. And if I'm going to be greedy past the 1,600 mark, then I'm not really being honest with myself about, you know, risk management and trade management. Now I'm just letting greed play in. So after 1,600, everything will be extra credit. I will secure the partials off the table and I will allow the rest to run. And if it continues to run, perfect. If not, that's the way the cookie crumbles. I'm going to adjust my fibs here because I want to make sure I drew my fibs to the absolute best levels, because there's a very big difference in these candles closing below the 88.6 or closing above. And right now they're kind of at the 88.6. And I want to make sure I drew my zones correctly. Otherwise, this is just not an accurate this thing's gonna be bearish, basically.
Well,
Well,
like I said, Roy, hats off to you, man. Great stream in general, regardless of outcome. I'm about to go get this workout in. I'll see you and Godly at the UFC spot later on. Just let me know what time. And for everyone watching these streams, whether live or on the replay, like I'm always say, you know, just continue to keep pushing, keep going. Your why needs to always be bigger than the obstacles. And like one thing about our problems in life is our God is always greater than any problem we have. So I don't ever look at the size of our problems. I always look at the size of our God, and just know that like time stands for things I must experience. Everything we go in life is literally something we have to go through. So appreciate you, the whole Chart Addicts community. The FX Summit Tour is going to be crazy. We're going international this time. And I can't wait for the next summit in Dubai. Literally going to be doing donuts in the desert. So love always, bro. I'm gonna go get this lift in.
all
My
love,
dude,
bro.
peace out,
Crush your
Jason.
workout, man.
All right, Golly. All right, Roy.
My dude. Good stuff. All right, ladies, gents, we've had tons of closures below the 88.6. We're using it as resistance. At this point, there's a very good chance that we just break through. We're just going to break through to come all the way down to grab liquidity, and then we're going to shoot all the way back up. So I'm still bullish on this. We're still going to come down and then shoot all the way back up, which is totally fine. Just keep an eye out for that potential re-entry. The market might, I mean, could it just get stuck here and then push up? I think so. But just based on how many times that it's formed that resistance and that buyers have not been able to sustain that buying pressure, We might just have a little bit more downside to go before we whipsaw back up. But the phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 is fully in motion. Phase 2 might just be a little bit extended to the downside. But after you have this massive wick, a re-entry at the support, this is a valid, this is a valid trade still because you have the re-entry at the support and your stops below the wick. If it does crash all the way through, as soon as it starts to close back above these wicks, as soon as the candles start to close back above, you can take a re-entry here, stop loss below the new wick, and just ride this thing all the way back up to the previous highs. All right? Make sense? Any questions, comments, concerns? How we sitting today, people? How we looking? Trade still valid? Yes, the trade is still valid. Even if it does that liquidity grab, trade still valid. All right, amazing. Going with the flow on the road, so more on the sideline than anything. Josh, there's no obligation to trade, and definitely don't distract yourself while you're trading, brother. We need you around. And so I'll be streaming every day. Guys, we only have 4 days left in the year. All right, 4 days left. We've been streaming for 96 streams in a row. And we're just getting started. After we finish the 100 days, I'm going to show you what it looks like to be consistent for 100 days. And yes, everybody, there's good days, there's bad days, there's days where I'm 100% sharp, there's days where the market is very generous, there's days where we have special guests. But through the ins and outs, the influences, the confidence, the mistakes, the upsides, the recovery, and just being able to refocus, hopefully you guys are seeing what real trading looks like. When you're by yourself, you don't have an outlet for a friend to tell you, hey man, like don't get too hard on yourself about this and that. You're just by yourself, maybe second guessing or maybe stressing or whatever it might be. Having this stream hopefully is a great environment for everyone to get around other traders and to see the mindset of someone who's been doing it just slightly longer than you have. And I know I'm not perfect, y'all. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be. If I wanted to pretend to be perfect, I wouldn't be doing a stream. I'd be doing what all these other guys are doing. I would post a nice canned picture that was, babe, make sure you get the right angle, babe. Right? I would have that fucking picture. I would be posting the demo profits on my shit. I would just have, I'd be deleting the losers and keeping the winners like a lot of these folks. And that's not honest. Because there's nothing worse than when you go on socials and you see a fitness page and the guy's steroided up. They Photoshop the picture. The guy's using all types of lightings and angles or whatever. And now you're sort of comparing, results to results against results that aren't real. And so this hopefully will show you the reality of what trading looks like day in, day out. You're going to show up a different person sometimes. Sometimes I'm 100% committed to my strategy. I'm 100% sharp. Nothing can stop me. And there's other days where shit's just different. I'm out here in Northern Virginia. It's cold, it's cloudy, it's dark. I'm out here like, maybe my strategy doesn't work. Sometimes you'll show up in a different mindset. The question is, how do you recover? The question is, how committed are you to the plan that you built so that even on your worst days, not even, especially on your worst days, you can make the right choices. I'm going to tell you right now, your trading plan, psychology, mindset, and none of it matters on your good days. It only matters on the days where things aren't going your way, where you're not in the best state of mind. That's where following the rules matter. That's where having a plan matters the most. All right? So use that as your advantage, is that if you have, if you guys have been on these streams and you're learning from me, again, don't make the same mistakes that I'm making. You all have an obligation to be better than me because I'm making these decisions in real time. I don't have any guidance. Well, I do have some guidance, but I don't really like to listen to the guidance because it's a bit of a distraction on the streams. I have to make a decision based on, am I ready to lose money? Am I going to be proud of myself later if I make this choice, close or hold? And so all these decisions hopefully will allow you to see maybe Roy could have improved that decision slightly. Maybe he could have taken slightly partial profits on this side. Every day we get here and we're in partial profits at 0.5%, maybe taking partial profits at 0.5%. So when you have an example like me in front of you, you can learn about what to do and what not to do. It's doubly beneficial. Learning from other people's mistakes is the easiest way to make the progress that you're looking for. You don't have to go and touch every stove. Sometimes you can take my word for it and say that stove is hot. Don't touch it. Cool. All right, ladies, gents, we've been on here for about an hour and a half. I'm gonna go get some tea and just gotta clear up my sinuses and whatnot. The trade hit break even. If we have this massive liquidity grab through, and then we have a closure back above, let's call it 16,800, I will be buying at 16,800, and then potentially at the 61, or sorry, the 88.6 zone that we marked off earlier, which is 16,850 here on Oanda. And on FTMO, I think my server froze. I just came in. Is he on the buy trade? It hit break even. Props to you for being real, Roy, and doing it live as well. That yellow box is Roy's target on both sides. Let me actually move everything. Well, let me do this real quick to do the two scenarios just before we hop off. And of course, if you guys have any questions about these two scenarios, let me know ASAP. But we're retesting this previous high right now, and this is typically a trap. This is like the break and retest kind of baby pips entry. An extended entry inside to the 88.6 would be the most likely if we're going to continue. Just a quick dip down and a continuation. So whatever the price is on your current broker feed, go from just subtract 60 points. Subtract 60 points from the current price of whatever your broker feed is. Subtract 60 points, and we're about 60 points away from that second entry. Okay, so if it does crash through, if it keeps breaking up, it's the way it is. My trade hit break even. But if it crashes back down, we get a much better entry, and I will re-enter on the way back inside that range as well. My two biggest takeaways, I actually wrote those here on the sides. What do you guys think? Do we count a break-even trade where I took partials as a win or a loss? Because for me, I count it as a win because I did everything I was supposed to do from start to finish. Isn't that crazy? The other ones, I broke my own rules. So even though the trade played out, I counted it as a loss because I broke all my rules. So that's where you don't worry about the results. You worry about the process. I'm counting my wins not based on how much money I made. I'm counting my wins based on the decisions that I made. And so this is a winning decision. Because I told myself I was going to wait for the liquidity grab, get back in the right time, and I did just that. Make sense? So you should count it as a win. Of course. James said, new levels, new devils. Yep. There's another one that's age old, James. They say, mo money, mo problems. Why? It's not because like these cliches don't survive the test of time for no reason. There's a element of truth in each of the cliches, but it's different problems. So here's what I would tell you guys about my experience with money is that money can only ever solve money problems. And most problems we have in our life are not money problems. They are self-worth issues. They are creativity issues. It's not because you don't have money that you're not starting that business. You just don't have the creativity. You have not been able to creatively piece together the solutions that people need in the marketplace to give them a real value. And you have not been able to provide enough value that it's worth paying for. It's not because you don't have money that you can't start the business. And so my relationship with money is that a lot of people think that when they get rich, they're going to start to get in shape. I'll just hire a personal trainer. I'll hire a dietitian. I'll pay for my family to go do this. I'll buy my girlfriend a new this and it'll be fine. After you buy them that thing, the problems will still exist. So while you're on the path to making money, build yourself to be the individual and build your life circumstance and fix those issues day by day so that you can have a great experience with the money. You guys get what I'm talking about? A lot of people think you can throw money at any issue and it fixes it. And that's why a lot of miserable people, a lot of rich people are miserable. They didn't build the relationships, the experiences, the life skills, the self-worth to be able to not depend on the money. People use the money as a crutch for their self-worth because you don't actually have to deal with some of the issues that you have to when you're broke. When you're broke and you don't have money, you can't just escape and go somewhere and have a bunch of people call you sir at the restaurants and everything because you're spending big money. It'll give you a sense of boost, you know? You got to go through life and be a man of character or be a woman of character. And that's how people still treat you with respect, whether you have money or not. And so when you build yourself up, for having character, and then money touches your hands, think about how much more dangerous you are. Then you end up like me. You're going to spend $1 million bringing the whole trading world together for a 3-day conference instead of buying supercars and some of these other things. You'll have a real sense of purpose and direction and a sense of like, we're doing something here. I'm not here to keep wasting time. I'm not here to just waste my money and throw it away. So money only solves money problems. And then my biggest takeaway is don't keep worrying about the harvest. Focus on how many seeds you're planting. When it comes to trading, every day, just take it one day at a time. Don't think about it in 3 months you want to get funded, in 2 weeks you want to get funded. You want to have that in your plan. You want to have goals and milestones. But every day is one day at a time, one trade at a time. And if you can keep yourself from doing something that will blow your account that day, if you're going to keep yourself accountable to where you can keep making good decisions, you can have that, keep having that success. Watch this guy. I just found this dude on. This relates to trading so well. Alex Honnold, this free solo climber. This guy climbs with no ropes. All right, he climbs the tallest mountains in the world with no rope. This shit makes my hands sweat watching it. Okay? What he was saying is he's climbing up the side of a freaking mountain with no ropes, people. Okay? So next time you're worried about blowing your account or losing a trade, just remember, yeah, I don't even know how he's not falling. So the brass balls just weighing him down. Fucking fell right off the cliff. This guy's like an actual goat. Just shoes, a bag full of chalk, and his freaking hands. Now, what he was saying is that he doesn't think about the dangers that lurk below hundreds and hundreds of feet. And he also doesn't think about the potential that he falls off the cliff and dies that day. Every single step that he takes is taken one at a time. And when you realize that every individual step is actually pretty easy, because he's such an advanced climber, a lot of these moves that he's doing, this starfish thing, is actually a pretty beginner move. Now, this swing is a little bit more complicated, but a lot of the moves he's doing, if you just take them individually, are actually very easy. So he doesn't think about the whole mountain he has to climb, or he just climbed, or the whole mountain he still has left. He takes it one climb at a time, which makes it a lot easier. So take your trading the same way. Don't think about passing the challenge or beating this or becoming a millionaire or having the prime account. It's one trade at a time. And if you do that long enough, you end up at the top of the mountain and everyone's looking at you like you're made of a different material. You understand? Isn't that crazy? All right, everybody. Time for me to hop off. You guys have the two trades. If this thing pops off, I will definitely let everyone know in the chat. Matter of fact, let me actually send this in the private VIP members chat, just so we're all on the same page about what I'm looking for today. And if it doesn't play out, we're going to use this as a learning opportunity because this has been a pretty tough week and just in terms of me trading. And a big part of that has been taking losses in the opposite direction of the trade. Even though this one would have played out, I just really wasn't playing a smart game. All right. So now that I'm trading in the direction of the trend, even if I lose, I still know I'm in the right track and I have my two options. So I'm not going to come back to any surprises. Cool. Put a one in the chat if you guys enjoyed this, or just leave a like, subscribe. Just leave a like and subscribe on the way out. I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. We're going to do a full 2023 recap for all the fundamental events, and then we're going to do a 2024 recap, not a recap, a 2024 strategy session in the first week of January. So I'll be showing you guys how I do my game planning. This Friday, I'll be going through a lot of my results on FTMO for the year, a lot of my payouts, a lot of my trade history, different accounts I had, some accounts I blew, some accounts I still have. And I'll be able to show you guys my overall progress and a lot of the lessons I've learned. The lessons I've taken away, I think, are the only things I really care about, which is what mistakes that I still make in 2023 that I told myself I was going to stop? Okay. What new mistakes did I make in 2023 that I did not expect? And then what framework or what guidelines am I going to set up in 2024 to ensure that those never happen again? Making a mistake in trading is fine, but making the same mistake twice is on you. So that's what I got to do this Friday. You guys are more than welcome to hop on. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern time here live on YouTube, or maybe we do it for the private VIP members instead. And then the 2024 strategy session, we're going to do a light version on the streams, and then I'm going to have a link sent out to all the NAS100 masterclass folks to have access to my 2024 blueprint so that everybody can see like the different scenarios of where the market's going to go, and you can plan your first 3 months of trading around this blueprint and adjust from there. All right, drop a like, drop a subscribe on the way out, hit your notifications so you know when we're going live. Get your tickets to the NAS100 masterclass before they're all sold out. And again, you only have a few days left to take advantage of the 50% off for the FX Summit 2024 conference. Looking forward to seeing you guys there. Happy and safe trading, y'all. Take it easy. Peace. Cool. Done dilly.